I will now begin the open session. Like to call to order. Please stand and join with me the Pledge of Allegiance. And I ask Dr. Choi to lead that with me.
Please place your hand over your heart and let's begin. I pledge
I
allegiance,
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Barbary.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Chang. And this is an action item, so I'm going to call for a roll call vote. Mr. Chang,
Aye.
Mrs. Chong.
Aye.
Mrs. Chan, Lynn.
Aye.
Mr. Barbary,
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan, aye, and student board member, Ms. Vahini.
Aye.
Thank you. The action is taken, the motion passes. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of March 23rd?
I move to approve March 23rd minutes.
Okay, as read, the minutes for March 23rd, motion by Mr. Chang. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Barbary, thank you. So I'd like to do a roll call vote. This is an action item. Mrs. Chan Lin,
Aye.
Mrs. Chong, Mr. Chang,
Aye.
Mr. Barbary,
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan, aye, and Ms. Garamone.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. Next, we have another action item with our board minutes, dated March 29th. This is a special Board of Education meeting.
I move to approve the special board meeting minutes from March 29th.
Thank you, Mr. Barbary.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Chang. And with that, if there's no further discussion, I'd like to call vote. Mrs. Chong,
Aye.
Mr. Chang,
Aye.
Mr. Barbary,
Aye.
Mrs. Chan Lin,
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan, aye, and Ms. Vahini.
Aye.
Thank you. And the motion passes to approve the special board meeting minutes of March 29th. Under public comments, this is a procedural item. The Board of Education has adopted Board Policy 9323B. This will ensure the public's right to be heard in any matters pertaining to the San Marino Unified School District. Persons who wish to provide public comment will have two options to submit public comments. First, submit through an online form. Second, to request to speak during the meeting via question and answer and phone dial-in. To submit through an online form, the public was asked to submit public comments for the open or closed session on April 20th from 11 a.m. through 3:30 p.m. We did not receive any comments during this time, but if we had, it would not be read during the meeting, but will be provided to the Board of Education. Please submit comments at a particular website. It's Board of Education 42021, and that would be always prior to a board meeting between 11 a.m. and 3:30. Public comments through question and answer during the meeting. There are opportunities for the public comment and their offer prior to closed session, at the start of regular open session for items not on the agenda, and then prior to consent and information items for matters on the agenda. The Board of Education reserves this right to add a public comment period prior to any individual item on the agenda. 5 minutes may be allotted to each speaker, maximum of 20 minutes to each subject matter. However, in the event there are more than 4 speakers to each subject matter, the board president retains the discretion to adjust, to limit the time allocated to each speaker to ensure that all wishing to speak will be heard within the 20-minute allotment. During public comment, the meeting will pause for 1 minute to take requests to speak. The raise your hand function is used to take requests during the public comment section. And for online attendees, press the raise your hand icon to add yourself to the queue. And for phone attendees, dial *9. Speaking order will be determined based on the order of requests received. Individual speakers will be unmuted and called to speak. Now we have communication from the audience regarding matters that are not on the agenda are to be made at this time. At this time, I'll turn it over to Dr. Choi.
Thank you, President Ryan. We will pause the meeting for 1 minute to take requests for items that are not on the agenda. So if you would like to make a request to speak regarding items that are not on the agenda, please press the raise hand icon, or if you are joining us by phone, please dial *9. We have 30 seconds remaining. If you would like to make a request to speak regarding items that are not on the agenda, please press the raise hand icon or dial *9. Okay, President Ryan, we have 1 request to speak.
I
The
welcome this. This is for matters that are not on the agenda item.
Correct.
Okay,
Go ahead. I see the name as Duncan. Duncan, I see that your line is on mute. Can you go ahead and unmute? And there we go. And your line is now open. We hear you.
Okay. Good evening. I've noticed that during school board meetings, there are several of you looking down at your phones and texting. This is not only my perception, but many community members. How do we know that you are not violating the Brown Act, texting each other, or possibly taking advice from community members during the meeting? In my opinion, phones should be banned from these meetings. After all, we elected you and we expect your full attention to the problems that our children and districts are facing. Thank you for your time.
thank you, caller.
Thank you.
Dr.
And,
Choi, do we have any other?
we do not. That was the only
Okay, so
request.
now 7B, communication from the audience regarding matters on the consent agenda are to be made at this time.
So go ahead and pause the meeting again for 1 minute to take requests to speak regarding items in the consent section only. So if you'd like to make a request, please press the raise hand icon or dial *9. Okay, President Ryan, we have no requests.
All right, thank you. And so that concludes our communication from the audience regarding matters on the consent agenda. In the consent section, Is there a motion to approve consent section 8A to 8H?
I move to approve for consent section from the AA to AH.
Thank you, Mr. Chang. Is there a second?
Second.
Who made the second?
I did.
Thank you, Mrs. Chan-Lin. For the motion, if there's no further discussion, I'd like to do roll call. Mr. Chang,
Aye.
Mrs. Chong,
Aye.
Mr. Barbary,
Aye.
Miss Chan-Lin,
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan, aye. Miss Garamella.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion has passed regarding the consent section. Communication section. This is a procedural item, communications from the Board of Education. Let's start with Mrs. Chung.
Good evening, everybody. I don't have a lot to say tonight. I just wanted to say thank you to all of the students and teachers just for resuming your normal activities. It's been really exciting and enjoyable for us to watch. I wanted to share that I'm very grateful for the fundraising efforts on behalf of the community, as well as NAM and the committee working on Measure E, and all of the efforts going in from the community who are really engaged in this process to ensure that our schools stay supported. And I want to say thank you to all of our administrators, both at the district and at the site levels, for protecting and supporting your staff all year to ensure that they've been able to perform their jobs safely on behalf of our kids.
Thank you, Mrs. Chong. Mr. Chang, please.
I just want to report for the first day we have a reopen for the 6 to 12. I company with Dr. Wilson at the high school. I just want to say thank you to our principal and the high school teacher. With your effort and the time, I think we open smoothly. I think I feel this a pride and also a pleasure compared to other school districts. Some they are not ready, or some they don't know which way is better. But I think with Dr. Wilson, very clear decision. Yeah, we can open and then the student and their parent they choose whatever they feel comfortable. You know, on behalf of the Board of Education, I want to appreciate, you know, our school district leadership. Thank you. And secondly, I also the Sunday I also observe for the effort to promote for the parcel tax and also the school foundation fundraising. Thank you for NAMJAC leadership step in again to take care for the parcel tax. And I also appreciate our school parent and also Chinese Club Board of Directors. They work together, yeah, to make this happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chang. Mrs. Chan-Lin, please.
I finally got to go to a home football game on Friday, and it was incredible to see all of the team members out there and the cheerleaders out there, and just coming back to some normalcy. I'm just so proud of our district for getting as much as they can back and giving these kids an end of the year to celebrate. And I know that we are working hard to do the graduations in person. And I know kids and families are really hopeful about all that. So that is exciting. And I think it's also really great that the drama department was able to practice and that they are going to be able to have Grease. And I hope that as many people in the community can come out for that. Very exciting. So exciting stuff we're doing. So glad that kids are getting back. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Chandler and Mr. Barbary.
So Julie stole my thunder. I definitely I definitely enjoyed so just seeing the normalcy of activities starting to resume. The football games were great, and the 2 home games that I was able to attend, the team actually played very well and won both games. One of which Wicket South Pass was an untimed extra play, last minute field goal from quite far for high school, and it was so great to see our students get to celebrate together, compete, and just be a team and just be high school age kids and get to experience some of those there's a country song that talks about they still talk about that one touchdown, and I think that this field goal might be one of those that they talk about for quite some time, because it was one of these impossible things. South Pass scored and they drove down the field and just so many things, and then at a last minute penalty which extended the game one more play, and they were able to kick the field goal. It's the things that you're right, the legends are made of, I think, and but it's not just football. It's all the things that are slowly starting to return to normal. I think it's so healthy for our students to get to go to school. My daughter's in 5th grade and just loves being able to see her teacher and talk to her friends and be in person. And I applaud the administration and all of our teachers who are supporting this effort. Hopefully we're headed for even more normalcy. Hopefully next year we'll get to be as normal can be, I guess, is what we're hoping for, right? So thank you all to our community and our teachers and staff for all you're doing to support that. Thanks.
And thank you. I just want to join with my fellow board members in thanking the community, our teachers, our administrators, our classified and classified as certificated staff members, as well as our students. It is a joy to see people coming back, children laughing, playing, and also the anxiety that might have been initially caused by the return after a year long being absent is really being realized because of all the hard work that our staff put into making sure that everything is safe. On behalf of the board, I just want to thank all of the teachers and the leaders in our community who continue to work tirelessly to help us. Thank you, NAMJAC, for being our friend. Thank you for Foundation, our PTAs. We could not do any of this without you, so I just wanted to join my fellow board members in thanking all of you. I hope I haven't missed anyone, but between the 5 of us, I think we've got it all. So thank you. Now next, we have communications from the superintendent, Dr. Wilson.
Thank you, Mrs. Ryan. Staying with the theme of thankfulness, I'm just so thankful for our teachers this evening, what they've had to do this last year, the effort and the time to really change everything. And I'm very thankful for their care for our kids, and both virtually and in person, and also for their great instruction, preparing our students for this great successful return to in-person learning, which seems so seamless. I also want to thank our 2 bargaining units and their leadership, and really for their friendship and partnership with the district and site leadership, which has allowed us to be one of the first middle and high schools in the county to open safely on April 1st. It was such a joy this week to step outside the doors of the district office and to hear the sounds of kids playing, and then to see the kids out, the middle school kids out on the tennis courts playing pickleball. It just felt right. So that was a great moment this week. So as has been mentioned by several of you, San Marino High School and Huntington Middle School had really terrific openings of in-person learning since April 1st. And we're really excited that on April 26th, Huntington Middle School will be able to combine their AV cohorts like we have at the high school, and that the middle and high school will be adding an on-ramp for additional students who want to return also on April 26th. If I got that date wrong, Miss Dr. Richter, you can interrupt me there, but I think that's correct. A couple of things, if you want to look on LADPH's website, there are 3 pretty new protocols that have been put out there. One of them is reopening protocol for youth and adult recreation sports leagues, protocol for live events and performances for outdoor seating, known as Appendix Z, and a protocol for live events and performances indoor, which is Z1. These are all updated on April 14th. Dr. Choi, there hasn't been an update since the 14th, right? Those are
the most current.
okay. So with that in mind, Mrs. Chan Lin mentioned graduations. Plans are being formed at all 4 of our schools for some form of in-person graduation based on the most recent protocols for live events and performances outdoor. And we reserve the right to adjust those as the guidance from the county and the protocols further evolve over the next month or so. But we're really excited that we're going to have some outdoor graduations. And then my last item is I just want to let the board know I'll be sending you some dates tomorrow for future board workshops, and we'll look for you to give me an idea of what's available for you. So that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Wilson. I don't want to interrupt because I know our student board member is coming up next, but I wanted to kind of put in a side note, and Mr. Chang and Dr. Choi and Dr. Wilson, this is kind of for you. I've been reading in the newspaper that there may be a backup vaccine, that will require our staff or our community to take a vaccine in 6 months. I'm wondering if you have information on that, or if you guys are working on that, because they first said Pfizer, but then there was a hint of Moderna having to require its recipients another dosage in 6 months. Do you guys have any information on that?
I don't, but I have what you had, but Dr. Choi, I suspect, has more, and probably Mr. Chang as well.
Yeah, nothing specific at this time. We're hearing the same information that there is potentially a booster shot for the 2-shot vaccines, the Pfizer and the Modernas. So we will definitely stay on top of that and communicate any information that we can to ensure that our employees and the community are aware of any developments and opportunities for those booster shots.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Chang, you're working on that USC connection, correct?
I think more than the USC connection, yeah. Well, if in the future there's a need, definitely let me know. I will try my best. Actually, the last Tuesday, I coordinate and the entire Huntington Library staff and the family. They take a first shot, yeah. So we are prepared for the second shot for them, yeah.
Okay.
So just let me know, yeah, if there's a need.
Thank you, Mr. Chang. All right, Ms. Garamel, I didn't mean to hijack your time.
No problem. So recently, Dr. Richter graciously reached out to all of the student council advisors at each school site, and they were all able to provide me with updates about events going on at each school. So I want to thank Mrs. Foray, Mrs. Travisano, and Ms. Keto for going out of their way to give me these updates. So in the week of April 12th through 16th, Carver hosted Art with Armory. Valentine had their interim CASP testing. Huntington Middle School recognized Stress Awareness Month. And as has been mentioned previously, San Marino had another home football game. And this week, the 19th to the 23rd, Carver's hosting virtual Carver Carnival events. Valentine is having their Staff Appreciation Week and a jogathon. Huntington Middle School is having a grade level t-shirt competition, and San Marino High School's ASB is having a virtual assembly tomorrow.
All right, thank you so much for all that information. Next, we have communications from the audience. This is regarding the matters that are on the information agenda, but they can be made at this time. This is the informational agenda section. Dr. Choi.
Thank you, President Ryan. We'll go ahead and pause the meeting again for 1 minute to take requests to speak regarding matters that are in the information items section of the agenda. So if you'd like to make a request to speak, please press the raise hand icon or dial *9. We have 30 seconds remaining. If you would like to make a request to speak regarding matters in the information section of the agenda, please press the raise hand icon or dial *9. Okay, President Ryan, we have no requests.
All right, thank you, Dr. Choi. And next, this is information item. This is 11A. This is the district financial 21-22, a staffing update with Dr. Jeff Wilson and Dr. Linda Delatorre. This is informational only.
So thank you, Mrs. Ryan, Board of Education and staff. I'm just going to turn this right over to my able colleague, Dr. Delatorre. Linda.
Thank you, Dr. Wilson. President Ryan, members of the board, this evening I would like to provide you with an update on the budget and staffing plans for the 21-22 school year. District staff are currently planning to attend the Governor's May Revise Conference, which takes place in May, in order to learn about any revisions that the governor has made to his January budget proposal. This will allow us to make any necessary adjustments to the proposed budget that will need to be reviewed and approved by the Board of Education no later than June 30th of this year. The challenge currently will be that we do not yet know whether or not the parcel tax will pass or fail. We have been advised by the County Office of Education to go ahead and keep the Measure E revenue in our budget, assuming it will pass. And because it's contingency funding, we will need to present what is called a fiscal stabilization plan. And we have done this in years past because we have two parcel taxes that we rely on for revenue. And the fiscal stabilization plan outlines the district's plan to reduce staffing by a commensurate amount should the parcel tax fail. Also wanted to let the board know that, as has been widely publicized, the district is receiving one-time funding due to the pandemic. And I'd just like to talk with the board briefly about those different funding sources, what they can be used for, the amount that we will be receiving, and the date that they have to be used by. So I'm going to start with the federal money, and that is ESSER 3 monies. And that is the money that that President Biden has authorized under the American Rescue Plan. This money can be spent on HVAC to improve the air quality in our classrooms. It can be spent on upgrading our technology infrastructure, professional development, and at least 20% of this money has to be spent on learning loss mitigation. The amount of money that we are receiving is $2.2 million, and we have to use this money by September 3rd, 2024. The district has already taken reasonable measures to ask our CTO, Dr. Choi, to give us some estimates of what it would cost the district to upgrade our technology infrastructure. And he has been kind enough to do so. And we are probably looking at anywhere from $800,000 to $1.1 million in order to do everything that needs to be done with our infrastructure and technology. In terms of upgrading our HVAC or replacing some of the HVAC systems that are aging out in order to improve the air quality in classrooms, that's quite an expensive project as well. And Mr. Gil Cardenas, our maintenance manager, is working on getting some estimates for that project, but we expect it to be anywhere from $750,000 to $1.2 million. The in-person grant money that we applied for and will be receiving must be spent on costs that are associated with us reopening schools. And as you are aware, there was an incentive provided to school districts to reopen their schools to all grade levels no later than April 1st of this year. And so we were successful in doing that. And I have to thank SMTA for their hard work on that. We would not have been able to do that without their support. We will be receiving $842,000. And it has to be used by August 31st, 2022. And again, that money must be spent on the costs associated with us reopening schools. In addition to those two one-time sources, we're going to be receiving monies on expanded learning opportunity grant. We have already spent some of this money in that it needs to be used on learning loss mitigation. It needs to be used on the district being able to provide opportunities for students to catch up on any work that they may have missed due to the pandemic. So that can be done through a variety of different sources. What we have agreed to tentatively at the bargaining table is to extend the school year for 21-22 by 2 full days. So instead of there being 180 days of instruction next year, there will be 182 days of instruction. In addition to that, we have added one optional professional development day to the calendar, which is very much needed. And so that is going to cost the district about a little over $300,000. So we're going to be receiving $1.5 million in the expanded learning opportunity grant money. And again, that should be spent on a variety of different mechanisms in order to address learning loss mitigation. $177,000 of that money needs to be used on paraprofessionals, and the district is looking at ways that we can benefit our students using paraprofessionals to support them over the course of the next year. And so we're still working on a plan. We have to develop a plan that will come to the Board of Education no later than June 1st on how we are going to be spending this money. So that will be a very detailed plan that the board will be receiving on the ESSER 3 monies. And we will also have to certify that we met all of the criteria that was required for receiving the in-person grant monies, and that is also due by June 1st. So during our May meetings, the board will be reviewing those two items extensively. In addition to the budget updates, we just want to make sure that the board is aware that we will be bringing forward the proposed budget during the 2 meetings in June. During the first meeting in June, we will have a public hearing and we will take comment from the public on our proposed budget, and then we will need to get that approved by the board during the second meeting in June. As to the issue of staffing for the 21-22 school year, this too is a challenge due to the timing of the parcel tax being placed on the ballot for June 29th. The district, as you are aware, noticed 48 certificated employees intending to reduce 41.2 FTE. 33 of those employees are funded by Measure E, and 8 will be laid off due to declining enrollment, lack of one-time monies, et cetera. So I just wanted to make clear to the board that 8 of the 41.2 are positions that we would have put forward to the board for approval to lay off, again, due to lack of one-time monies, continuing or declining enrollment. We are scheduled to go to hearing on the layoffs for May 6th and May 7th. The district will need to issue final notices prior to May 15th unless the administrative law judge extends the deadline. And the only reason that the ALJ would do that is if they needed more time to write the report. One of the concerns that the district has about the hearing is it is scheduled for 2 full days. And as mentioned earlier, we notified 48 FTE. So all 48 could attend the hearing on both days, which would mean that for those teaching in-person students, we would need to secure a substitute for them. That is going to be exceedingly difficult during this time. We are sharing subs with several of the surrounding districts, and we have had difficulty staffing our vacancies on the natural. But having 48 teachers out for 2 days in a row is very problematic. So we've been meeting with the principals, talking with them about a plan to address this issue. And also talking with council about the potential of stipulating so that we don't have to go to hearing. So I don't know that that's going to be the case, but whatever challenges lie ahead, we will address them head on and resolve them to the best of our ability. Any questions?
By the way, I would like Dr. Choi to share with us what kind of improvement we have to do in the technologies with this the funding. Yeah.
Yeah, the 2 key projects we're looking at for technology infrastructure is to replace our aging and obsolete network switches and Wi-Fi access points. Those are have been in service for a little over 8 years, and you know, they're not getting updates. We're pretty much just patching. They're not even under support agreements anymore. So we would like to have the opportunity to utilize this one-time funding to replace the network switches and the Wi-Fi.
And I would just like to mention to the board that these are expenses that we would typically be using bond money for. So one thing that the district is going to undertake in the next several months is having a facilities needs assessment done so that we can present to the Board of Education all of the needs district-wide.
Thank you. And if there are no additional comments or questions? Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Delatorre. Next up is 11B. This is proclamation number 1. This is for California Day of the Teacher. Declare for Dr. Linda Delatorre will give us information on the proclamation number 1.
Yes, thank you, President Ryan, members of the board, Superintendent Wilson, and executive team. I will be reading out proclamation number 1, which is to recognize and honor the California Day of the Teacher, which is Wednesday, May 12th. Whereas an educated citizenry serves as the foundation of our democracy, and whereas today's teachers mold the minds and train the workforce of the future, and whereas no other profession touches as many people with such a lasting effect, and whereas good teaching grows in value and pays dividends far beyond the classroom, and whereas excellence in our state begins with California's teachers. And whereas California's teachers are among the best educated, most credentialed, and hardest working educators in the country. Therefore, the San Marino Unified School District hereby proclaims Wednesday, May 12th, 2021 as the California Day of the Teacher. We urge all San Marino citizens to observe this day by taking time to remember and honor those San Marino Unified School District teachers who give the gift of knowledge through teaching. And we will be asking for President Ryan's signature and Dr. Wilson's signature on this proclamation.
Thank you. And next is 11C. This is proclamation number 2, and this is in honor of our California School Employees Association, CSEA. These are our classified school employee, and this is their week, is May 17th to 21st in the year 2021. And I'm going to call on Dr. Linda Delatorre for this informational item.
Thank you, President Ryan. I will be reading out proclamation number 2 in recognition of the Classified School Employee Week, May 17th through May 21st. Whereas classified professionals provide valuable services to the schools and students of the San Marino Unified School District, and whereas classified professionals contribute to the establishment and promotion of a positive instructional environment, and whereas classified professionals serve a vital role in providing for the welfare and safety of the San Marino Unified School District students And whereas classified professionals employed by the San Marino Unified School District strive for excellence in all areas related to the educational community. Therefore, the San Marino Unified School District hereby proclaims the week of Monday, May 17th through Friday, May 21st, 2021 as Classified School Employee Week, and wishes to honor the contribution of the classified professionals to quality education in the state of California and in the San Marino Unified School District. And we will be asking President Ryan and Superintendent Wilson for their signatures on proclamation number 2.
Thank you so much, Dr. Delatorre. And I can't emphasize enough on behalf of the board of how grateful we are and how honored we are to proclaim these dates for the teachers and for our classified school employees. I can't imagine what my life would have been like if I hadn't been inspired by teachers and professors. I don't know what might have happened if my brothers and sisters and I weren't well taken care of and cared by the school staff that watched us grow up and nurtured us and continue to still be part of my life. I still talk to my former English teacher to this day, and I still have friendships in Canada where I went to school, and it's just it just warms my heart that we are able to just take this special moment just to recognize these heroes, these people that are well deserving of our respect and honor. And so please join the board and myself in honoring this community of selfless individuals. And I can't say enough about what I hope we will all do. So thank you.
Thank you, President Ryan.
All right, next up is our board superintendent. Do you have any discussion items?
I think I got it all out. Thank you, Mrs. Ryan.
Thank you. And so I would like to adjourn our meeting. Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.